And hello again, and here we are back in my garage on a very cold, wet day. I think the summer's almost over now, and today I'm going to try and sort out at least some of the problems I've got trying to fit the exhaust system to the bike. Because if you recall, at the end of the last video about the bike here, my 1170, I realised that this Delkevic exhaust system won't fit the bike because this exit pipe here is far too close to the swing arm, and that's because this exhaust system was made to fit the engine, and the engine is from a 81 GPZ B1, and obviously the back end of the B1 back then was a lot narrower than a modern back end like this one here from well, swing arms from a fairly modern ZRX 1200. So I did realise at the time, of course, I fitted it, that there may be an issue, but I expected it to be, you know, not quite so bad as this. So the answer I came up with was I've got to take this 4-into-1 collector box off here, cut it in half and extend it outwards by X amount. And the X amount I think is going to be about the width of the pipe. And this pipe actually is quite big. It's 63.5 millimeters in diameter, which is 2.5 inches. The other thing actually I might do is, since I've got to cut this damn thing in half, what I can also do is, when I've extended it and weld it back together again, I can alter the angle of this exit pipe. What I might do is tilt it up a bit more, because this is angled such that this bracket would originally mount to the pillion mount, which is a triangle of metal that comes out here. Oops. Well, on my bike, that was cut off many years ago, long before I got the frame. And so now with the camera, you can maybe see what I'm talking about a bit easier, because as you can see, there's no way this baffle's going to fit as the pipe is now. So I reckon if I move it out by the width of the pipe, which is about 2.5 inches, that will give me a sort of position like that, which I think should work. That's far enough away from the swing arm not to have a problem once I mount it. So yeah, that seems to be what needs to happen. But the first thing I'm going to do now is I need to raise up these rear sets, and what I want to do is get this peg about level with the swing arm pivot. That seems to be how most sort of custom Zs I've seen have their rear sets. And so what I need to do right now is to temporarily lift up this peg to about the level of the swing arm pivot. That way I can check for clearance, and I can also check to see if it's comfortable when I'm sitting on the bike. And to do that, dead simple, I'm just going to unbolt it and put that bolt in that hole, and so that'll lift the whole thing up by about well, about 2 inches or so, and that's what's next. Just like that. So it's not very stable, I can't put any weight on it, but it'll do for now. As you can see, that gives me plenty of clearance above the pipe. I'll just go and do the same thing on the other side now, then I can sit on the bike and just see how it feels. And so now I know the new peg height is okay for me. I've removed the hangers, and I just want to try and see if we can work out how to mount this damn thing. So if I move this collector out by the width of the pipe, which is 2.5 inches, 63.5 millimeters, it'll look something like that. Try and get it lined up, and I think that's okay. And it does give me enough room behind here to mount a bracket from these 2 points back to this bracket here, and I think that's going to be the neatest way of doing it. And so next I've got to take these 2 foot peg hangers back to Jeff's workshop and have him remake them, but positioned about 2 inches higher. I also want him to reduce these pegs down a wee bit. I did have them quite long because the last lot I made were too short, but if I compare them to the pegs here on my Guzzi project, which are made by Tarosi, you can see they're about twice as long, which is a bit too long. And that's not really a problem on the bike, it's just that I've already walked past it a few times and bashed my shin on the damn thing, so they do stick out quite a long way. So I think I'll have them reduced by about 30 or 40 millimeters. Still a bit longer than them, but not quite as long as they are now. And once that's done, I can take these along some other parts to Camcoat on the far side of town, where they can be hard anodised, but that'll be in a few days' time. And on my way to see Jeff, I'll pop in and see the other Jeff the welder, and ask him if he can modify this collector here by cutting it in half and extending it by about 2.5 inches. by inserting in a straight pipe on this part here. Now I don't know if it's going to have a suitable pipe in stock, because obviously it's stainless steel, but if not, I'll just wait for him to buy some in, and we'll go from there. So yeah, so today I've got to go and visit one Jeff and then the other Jeff, and that's what's next. And so now I'm back home again, having visited the two Jeffs, and the first Jeff, that's Jeff Haslam, has welded in this piece to my collector, and what he's done is, as I asked him to, he's fully welded this lower part, but he's just tack welded the top bit. That way I can change it quite easily if I find this is too long, or when I change the angle of this, it's easy to do. I didn't want him to fully weld it just in case I'm not happy with this particular length and so on. So that's good. What I can't do though is try it out, because the mounting plates here for the foot pegs have gone off to Jeff, the other Jeff, and he's remaking them such that the peg height is about 2 inches higher. That way I'll have plenty of clearance above the exhaust pipe, and also on the other side I'll have clearance above the side stand when the side stand is up. So that should be done in a few days time. They're not being made perfectly straight away. I just want them crudely cut out, put it back on the bike, make sure I'm happy with it, and then we can finish off the shaping of them and so on, and the polishing. And now I've rolled the bike outside. Well, we've got a break in the rain today, and as you can see, I fitted the exhaust system with that modified 4-inch collector. So right now it's just sagging, there's nothing holding it up. So if I now take the weight of the pipe, you can see pretty much that's how it might be when I've got the bracket in place. And the question I've got to ask myself is, do I want it like that, or do I want it a bit higher up? Because right now I'm not sure. It might look better if it was a bit higher up. And the question is, how much higher up? Because right now I don't know. And following on from that, I need to work out precisely how much I need to turn how much I need to angle that collector up to get the result I want. Also, I think at the moment this pipe is not pushed down all the way on the exit pipe for the collector. I'm not sure why. It might be a bit tight. So another thing I might do is I might cut down this pipe a wee bit. I can't cut it down too far, because once I get to that bend, the pipe won't fit anyway. The exhaust won't fit on here. What I can do though is bring it back about, what, 2 inches or so, or 3 inches, and that'll bring the whole pipe forward. So right now I think that's a bit too long. I can't really modify the silencer, because you know, you'll see that once it's on the bike. But what I can do is I can cut back this piece here, this 4-inch collector, and you'll never know because it's invisible when it's on the bike, because obviously the silencer goes over it. Yeah, so that's the current state of play. Actually, you can probably see it better than I can, because I can't really tell how it looks from where I am. But afterwards I'll check out the video and decide what to do. But on first impressions, I think I might have to, you know, go a bit higher than that. That's about as high as it can go, just as is. What do you think? What do you think? But I'll decide that when I get the hangers back for the footrests. We put them on and make sure I've got enough clearance below my feet and so on. And then we can make a bracket in turn to go from here backwards to the mount on the silencer. Yeah, that's not bad, is it? That's not bad. But as I say, I think what I will do is I will shorten this bit of the pipe here and thus bring the whole thing lower down. Because right now I think it sticks out a bit too far. Anyway, that's a lesson learned. And so now with that done, it's time to move on from the back of the bike to the front of the bike to work out how to mount my new cockpit fairing.